Today, the White House is stressing there is, quote, no holdup despite President Trump not signing a single trade deal since he put that 90-day pause on his so-called reciprocal tariffs earlier this month. In the meantime, the president is reiterating his goal of using tariff revenue to dramatically overhaul U.S. tax policy.
We're going to cut taxes for the people of this country. It'll take a little while before we do that, but we're going to be cutting taxes. And it's possible we'll do a complete tax cut because I think the tariffs will be enough to cut all of the income tax.
We have business journalist Robin Farzad with us now. He's also the host of Public Radio's Full Disclosure. Okay, Robin, full, just complete income tax cut, no problem, right?
It reminds me of the band Stone Temple Pilots, and they say one time a thing occurred to me: what's real and what's for sale? I know you're young. This was a big grunge song 30 years ago.
STP was big.
Yeah.
All right. I just look young. Thanks, Robin.
Take the compliment. It's a Monday. This is for sale. We are taking so many different streams of information from this gigantic fire hydrant of a White House right now. El Salvador, the courts, the Fed, Iran, Israel, Gaza, Ukraine, the Vatican. That this is just another one on Monday morning. I think he senses that his economic poll numbers are weak, and this is when you want to throw out something that's widely popular in his party, tax cuts. I mean, that's red meat, and he still has a 90% approval rating among Republicans.
Okay, so let's do some more music here. He's got 99 problems, and you were going through some of them, but a trade deal is not one. Right? He hasn't brokered one. And I mean, we know how long they take. So it's not like we expect that he's going to have it all. It's all finished, right? It's all baked. But even the sort of outline of one, he doesn't even have that at this point in time. Although you have the Treasury Secretary predicting a deal with India could be one of the first ones. What could that look like? How soon could that come, do you think?
It's not about splitting those hairs necessarily, because fine, when India's done, how do you handle China? How do you handle the UK? How do you handle the Eurozone or South America? Colombia, everybody's waiting with bated breath. I think this speaks to how the markets are hemming him in. I mean, you talk about separation of church and state and the various legs of government. There's almost another rail of checks in the markets. When the stock market, the economic data, consumer sentiment, the fact that he can't get any satisfaction out of jawboning Jerome Powell at the Federal Reserve. So now he says, I realize I have a majority, however slim it is in Congress, so I'm going to push the tax cut, the aggressive tax cut agenda. Mind you, I don't think the CBO has scrutinized the possibility of not taxing people under $200,000, or like what he said when you were covering the campaign trail, in Nevada, we won't tax tips. I mean, you could say these things and they'll have rhetorical flourish that day, and the news cycle will switch to something else the following day. I think what's consistent is the market believes him less and less and less.
But also, if you say, oh, great, my tips aren't taxed, but you just hit me with this other thing because of the tariffs, right? We're seeing in the numbers, people went to the ballot box and they wanted relief, and that's not what they're getting. And the statistics are showing that's not what they're getting. I guess the question then is, even if he's able, as he's softening on tariffs a little bit here, if he's able to dial this down and find an off-ramp here, how much damage is already done?
Well, the damage, you could say, that was Biden's fault into his first 90 days. Now, increasingly, as we head into the middle of the year, it's his economy. He owns it. He owns eggs. He definitely owns tariffs. He definitely owns when you go to a car dealership and find that something that might have cost you $40,000 6 months ago costs $55,000 and is not available. So, yes, there is this desire for him to say, oh, that's going to be offset by this massive tax cut extension that I'm going to give you. It remains to be seen if people buy that.
Okay, so as we're looking towards day 100 tomorrow, are there bright spots that you're seeing? Any bright spots in the economy?
Consumer sentiment is weakening, but there's still FOMO buying. Call me crazy. There's people out there still wanting to spend on hospitality, on restaurants. We see that jobs are still overwhelmingly available in the hospitality sector, especially with the chilling effect on, I hate to say it, people of color showing up for these jobs. They're more scared now. I'm hearing anecdotally from restaurant owners, from hotels, and it's just making that experience more difficult to provision to people. So it's sad. That's inflationary on balance, and I think his moves are going to be inflationary on balance, and inflation is a very hard thing to snuff out.
Yeah, there are people afraid to show up for jobs. It's cutting across sectors, right? As you said, hospitality, we see that in agriculture as well. Robin, thank you so much. It's always great to have you.
Likewise.
99 days, a trade deal is a problem. or a solution that President Trump does not have. The White House has announced exactly 0 trade agreements so far in President Trump's new term, 0 even trade sort of scaffolding of agreements. And since he put that 90-day pause on his so-called reciprocal tariffs earlier this month, despite the lack of deals, today the White House claimed that there's, quote, no holdup and that it's working around the clock. Well, the clock is really ticking loudly at this point. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said earlier today that one of the first trade deals that Trump could sign could be with India, coming after Vice President J.D. Vance met with India's Prime Minister last week. In the meantime, as economic experts sound the alarm that Trump's tariffs could quickly bring higher prices and empty shelves, the president is doubling down.
We're going to be taking in a tremendous amount of money. We're going to be taking in a lot of jobs, a lot of plants and factories. They're already coming. I mean, you see it. And we're going to make a lot of money, and we're going to cut taxes for the people of this country. It'll take a little while before we do that, but we're going to be cutting taxes. And it's possible we'll do a complete tax cut, because I think the tariffs will be enough to cut all of the income tax.
CNN's Matt Egan is with us now. We just heard the president there saying tariffs could eliminate almost all income tax. Fact check that for us.
Yeah, Brianna, that does not seem like it is doable. There is a math problem here, a big one. Now, look, no one likes to have a big chunk of their paycheck go to the federal government. So sure, getting rid of the income tax sounds great. But in order to do that, you would have to lift tariffs very high, extremely high, much higher than they are already. Consider that the U.S. brought in about $3 trillion in income tax revenue in the most recent fiscal year. So in order to replace all of that, you would have to put a 100% tariff on all $3 trillion of U.S. imports. That's about 4 times higher than current tariffs. And that would increase prices on imports of everything from toys and sneakers to cars. And the problem, of course, is when you increase prices that much, it would destroy demand. So people would just stop buying some imported goods, and that would shrink the tariff revenue. So Torsten Slok, the chief economist over at Apollo Global Management, he estimates that you'd actually need to increase tariffs to 200%, essentially quadrupling prices from current levels. Another idea that the president has floated is that perhaps they could just get rid of the income tax for people who are making under $200,000 a year. Now, that might sound more doable, but the federal government brought in $675 billion of revenue just from people who are making $200,000 or less. And that is much, much larger. That's about 4 times the amount of money that would be brought in by the president's planned tariffs this year. You can see it on that chart. It really pales in comparison. Erica York from the Tax Foundation, she told me it's mathematically impossible to do this. She said it's not even close to adding up. One last point here, Brianna, this is not just something that you can announce. This, of course, would take an act of Congress, and it does not seem like anything is imminent on that front.